The village of Dolton is more than $3.5 million in the hole. Mayor Tiffany Henyard is accused of misusing money, and today she's nowhere to be found.
Very, very diligently, very hard under difficult circumstances to get as much information as we could to share with you.
She thinks she's going to jail. I'm also a former Cook County Sheriff for the Department of Correction, and I suggest that she go and take a tour of that facility so she can see what's in store for her.
It is with a heavy heart that we find ourselves discussing the downfall of Mayor Tiffany Henyard, whose tenure has been marred by allegations of corruption, abuse of power, and a blatant disregard for the well-being of the citizens she is sworn to serve. Corruption in positions of power is nothing new, but Mayor Henyard has taken it to another level. The consequences of her actions are now catching up with her, and the federal authorities are hot on her trail. For years, she has tried to evade responsibility, using every trick in the book to stay one step ahead. But this time, it's different. Nothing seems to be working in her favor, and the walls are closing in. Let's dive into the latest developments in this unfolding saga. Mayor Henyard's rise to power was anything but ordinary. Contrary to the common belief, she was not elected as the mayor by the township. Instead, her journey began when the Board of Trustees appointed her to complete the term of the deceased mayor, Frank Zuccarelli. According to state election law, the Dolton Township Board had 60 days to appoint a replacement to complete Zuccarelli's term. The main contenders for the appointment were widely believed to be Trustee Joyce Washington, due to her lengthy tenure and status as interim supervisor, and Trustee Jerry Jones, the Dolton Township Assessor. Cassandra Elston was another possible appointment, but as we all know, politics can be a twisted game. Unsurprisingly, the Board of Trustees could not agree upon a single candidate. As a twist of fate, the motion to nominate Henyard was made by Trustee Christopher Gonzalez, and Henyard was voted and sworn in just minutes before midnight.
You've been voted the Dolton Township Supervisor. How do you feel right now?
Oh man, I'm overjoyed. Didn't see it coming. I love it. That means that I am truly blessed and everyone loves me. I love them. Thank you.
While the names of the nominees may have seemed random to many in the audience, it was later revealed that Henyard had applied for the position some time ago. Gonzalez later revealed that he didn't want the crucial supervisor decision to be left in the hands of the township electors, although he had repeatedly pushed for Elston, whom he believed was the right fit. With time slipping away and the board deeply divided, Gonzalez made a last-minute move and nominated Henyard, hoping that the urgency of the situation would force the board to unite and make a decision before the midnight deadline. Many believe that the Board of Trustees had their own agendas to hide, as they did not want the decision to go into the hands of the public. However, the consequences of Gonzalez's hasty nomination were felt by the entire Dolton city. The first meeting that Henyard led was relatively mundane, in which she expressed her motivations to serve the people. She thanked the Board of Trustees and the clerk for their confidence in her, pledging to work hard and have an honest and responsible fiscal year. She also promised to remember that she is a public servant and will always keep the people first. Things seemed to be running smoothly until Mayor Henyard started asking people who were close to the former township supervisor, Frank Zuccarelli. Rumors quickly spread that Henyard had a personal vendetta against those who had supported Zuccarelli in his role. Allegedly, she felt threatened by those with deep roots in the job, especially when they tried to guide her through the responsibilities of the position. It's somewhat understandable that Henyard wasn't chosen for her skills, and this insecurity apparently fueled her need to assert control and dominate the city. Her first move was to oust Jessica Jones, with Trustee Jerry Jones making the motion and Trustee Joyce Washington seconding it. The vote was a swift and shocking unanimous decision, with even Trustee Gonzalez and Trustee Gray Everett giving their approval. But Henyard wasn't done. She swiftly targeted Stephanie Weidman next, with Trustee Jones again initiating the motion. Despite a brief pause, Washington seconded it. This time, the vote was sharply divided at 4-1, with Trustee Gonzalez standing alone in opposition.
Confidential, sensitive papers that were in a common area.
This morning, some of those documents were gone.
It is interesting that no one asked Henyard for an explanation for the termination of these two longtime employees. Even the employees themselves didn't know what was going on, with one of them expressing their shock and hurt at the sudden dismissal. As the controversies continued to mount, it became clear that Henyard was already running amok like a headless chicken, and no one was there to stand up to her. Sources reported that Henyard has been bullying other elected officials, including a feud with Township Assessor Cassandra Elston, which culminated in Henyard locking Elston out of her office in a fit of rage. When Elston later gained access to her office, she found piles of paperwork sitting on a table in the common area, an area that sees foot traffic from 50 to 100 people every day. The paperwork included sensitive information such as names, addresses, income details, social security numbers, and sometimes medical information about people who come to the assessor's office for help. In response, Henyard released a statement claiming that she had reorganized the office spaces and that Elston was making a mountain out of a molehill. She even offered to provide photo documentation upon request, related to the cabinets being moved without any items being removed or disturbed.
Her office was relocated to an area so that we can take care of some business in her office area. She did not call and ask us why she was being relocated. She did not call and ask us any information about that. There were no files left out.
Other members of the board also supported Henyard's antics and decided to give a long statement claiming that Henyard had never contacted them. Trustee Keith Freeman said that the residents of Thornton Township would be better served if the local media focused on news with substance, like the township being awarded the Government Finance Officers Association of the United States and Canada Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting, rather than a simple rearrangement of office space. However, fans still find it suspicious that there was no paper trail of the announcement of such arrangements. It seems that instead of addressing the root problem, Henyard decided it was a mature reaction to shame the media for not writing good things about her. As Henyard's reputation continued to nosedive, she resorted to spirituality to prove her point. She claimed that she was a good spirit who was fighting with the devil.
Bald-faced example of Supervisor Henyard's promise of come to the good things, there's so much good going on that we want to tell you about. When we show up to report on it, we were denied access.
So that's what happened to our reporter, and then at the next meeting that you attended, we heard this.
Because y'all don't want to do the research. Y'all keep listening to people and no one's showing you fact. They keep telling you fiction, fake story, fake news, like for real, stop. But go check, guys, if you really want to know the truth so you can understand what it is that we're fighting over.
The drama only got messier as Gonzalez, who had nominated Henyard, saw how she had reacted as soon as the cameras turned off. He claimed that from the first day, Henyard started acting like she was the one who ran the show.
She just kept basically yelling, what are they going to think now? What are they going to say now? Speaking of the Dolton trustees, because I guess, like I said, there was already a rift and I didn't know that.
Just in her first year on the job, Henyard had been involved in multiple controversies, including the hiring of a offender as an inspector, spending taxpayer money without board approval, and using Dolton police officers for personal security. Gonzalez expressed his sadness, stating that they had to go through court proceedings due to the negligence shown by the leadership. At the annual meeting, a 23-year-old South Holland resident encouraged township leaders to foster civic engagement by taking good faith actions, including making information readily available. Another resident, G.I.S. Watts, responded to Henyard's comments about the voters' choice to vote down a mental health referendum that would have raised taxes in Thornton Township. Watts said, "We are not brainwashed, we are fed up. Nobody said we didn't think mental health was important, we just don't trust you to fix it." These confrontations highlighted the growing discontent among the residents who felt that Henyard was making decisions for herself, not for the people. Trina Diaz, who used to back Henyard, didn't hold back in a recent confrontation, addressing Henyard directly and expressing her concerns about office issues, being locked out of a Dolton board meeting, and even raising concerns about misconduct on official trips. Nate Fields, a Thornton Township photographer, also weighed in, recalling that after Frank Zuccarelli's death, Henyard had promised him, "Whatever you need, I got you." However, Henyard later fired him without proper reasoning. A Thornton Township staffer claimed that Henyard was allegedly using other men to intimidate workers and keep them silent, stating, "Media is badgering the workers. All I want to do is work for my community. It's very scary when you have grown men coming at you and threatening you. I'm scared to come to work. I'm scared. I don't want to feel scared to come to work every day." The legal drama surrounding Henyard's tenure as mayor has been nothing short of a minefield, with lawsuits piling up against her faster than anyone can keep track. From employees alleging wrongful termination to local businesses accusing her of favoritism and unfair practices, Henyard is at the center of more court cases than a primetime legal drama. Henyard is named alongside Dolton Village trustee Andrew Holmes in a lawsuit filed by a Dolton police officer who was a member of Henyard's security detail, as well as a woman who used to work for the mayor. Another lawsuit alleged that Dolton officials gave a barbershop owner the runaround in improperly denying a business license. Despite all the ongoing investigations, Henyard has reportedly denied wrongdoing and claimed that concerns about her spending of taxpayer money and allegations of political retaliation are fake news motivated by race, despite the fact that Dolton trustees who have challenged her are also Black. The investigations have unveiled that Henyard and her entourage have racked up more than $12,000 in travel expenses charged to taxpayers in the past year, including first-class airfare, a $99,000 stay at the Four Seasons in Atlanta, and a $133,000 bill from the Marriott Marquis in New York City. It's clear that the residents of Dolton have had enough, and they are calling for Henyard to be held accountable for her actions. Many believe that it's time to stop paying her six-figure salary for a public servant job that she's not doing, and that she should be behind bars for the crimes she has committed. Until next time, you are watching BiBiTea. Goodbye!